still a few more minutes left, but I had to get out here so I can tell you all what is going on. Now, last I spoke to you, I told you the lady named Brianna Bongolan, the one that said Diddy dangled her over a 17-foot balcony. Well, she was up there testifying on the stand. But let me just tell you, at the end of the day, Nicole Westmoreland did it again. Okay, she is destroying this woman under cross-examination. I mean, she is really lying to her. She's digging out numerous inconsistencies in her story. It looks now like her and Cassie may have had something else going on the sidelines that Diddy didn't even know anything about. Okay, so we're going to get into it because, you know, I'm starting to think that maybe this whole story about him dangling her over the balcony didn't even happen, because now it sounded like her and Cassie got together and likely conspired and put some stories together. Okay, so let's talk about it, because here's the thing. Now, first of all, she says that when Diddy dangled her over the balcony, she says she's 5'1". She said at the time, because of all of her drug use for the D, that she basically weighed between 100 and 115 pounds. Hey, beloved. Okay, so then she says that when Diddy grabbed her and lifted her up, he grabbed her like under her arms, stood her on the balcony, and she was facing the view, and said Diddy is screaming at her. He's telling her, you know what the F you did? You know what the F you did? And she's like, I don't know what the F I did. It is so crazy. So anyway, Roberta said, I saw this balcony story years ago. But here's the thing. This story sounds like she made it up. Okay, I'm just saying that's what it's given under cross-examination. So anyway, listen. So she says he lifted her up, and she doesn't even know how he got in the apartment. She says she's sitting there, Cassie's in the bedroom. Diddy walks into the apartment, throws a knife, okay, unprovoked supposedly, just waltzes in, and they're like, how did he get in? She says, I don't know. Then he grabs her, puts her up on the balcony, and starts telling her she knows what the F she did. Okay, so then she says afterwards he just threw her down onto the floor, threw her down on the ground, and she hit the patio furniture. And she didn't realize how injured she was at the time, but later she realized that she had a big bruise on the back of her leg, and they showed a picture of the bruise. Now, this was an ugly bruise. It was like a round circular bruise. It was really bright red. And then she said she had back and neck injuries. And when they showed a picture of her back, there was a whole bunch of Band-Aids all over her back. I'm like, what is this? So they asked her, what is that on your back? She says that her ex-girlfriend put Band-Aids all over her back to wherever she told her the pain was. I'm like, what's the significance of that? Like, why would you put Band-Aids where the pain is? How's that gonna help, right? So anyway, this is what she claims happened. She then says that she went to talk to one of her friends or her manager at work, and they told her to go to a chiropractor. So she goes to the chiropractor. She says the chiropractor asked her, who did this to you? And she didn't want to say anything. Okay, so then, now mind you, she said while Diddy's holding her on this balcony, she's pushing back at him. She's pushing back at him. And he just kept yelling. And so she's trying to answer because she's really scared. You know what the F you did. You know what the F you did. He just keeps on saying it. She's like, I don't know what the F I did. Okay, so then she says, he repeats this multiple times. Oh my goodness. He repeats this. Honey, this is New York. Y'all know it gets crazy out here, so please pay attention. So she says that after he threw her on the furniture, she heard Cassie. Cassie must have come out of the bedroom, and she sounded like she was in disbelief. And Cassie says, did you hold her over the balcony? Did you just dangle her over the balcony? So Brianna says she then went home, and she was shaking all over, and she felt disgusted, so she needed to take a shower. That's when she said she saw the bruise on her leg. And then, like I said, they showed the picture of the bruise, and it did look awful. But now I'm wondering, was that really a bruise from what Diddy did? So anyway, she said she was really freaked out after going to the chiropractor. She said she didn't answer when they asked who did it. And she says that her girlfriend put the Band-Aids on wherever she said there was pain, and she didn't seek further care after that. Hey, how you doing? She said she didn't seek any further care after this, right? And she said this is because she had so many rugs with a D that had been pumped into her. So she says that this is when she decided that she needed to get clean. That's what she said. That's when she decided that she wants to stop doing illegal substances. Okay, so then she says that when she talked to Diddy about it later, because she wanted to meet with him, and she told him what he did. She said he just simply put his hands in his head and he didn't say much. She said she was scared because of all that she had seen and all of that she had experienced herself. Not to mention the things that she'd seen Diddy supposedly do to Cassie. So she said she remembers it well. She remembers the last time she spoke to Diddy and Cassie together, or that she hung out with both of them together. She says that was January the 2nd of 2018. So they asked her, well, how do you remember that date so specifically? And she says because she got it tattooed on her body because she wanted that to be a constant reminder that she needs to get clean and sober. And she wanted to make a commitment to do so. Now, she claims that that night, the last time she hung out with Diddy and Cassie in January of 2018, she says that they did 8 hours worth of rugs. She said they were doing ketamine for 8 whole hours. Okay, that's crazy work, right? I don't know how they lived. So then she says that her and Cassie, they asked her, how did you and Cassie's friendship, go after that? Did you all remain friends? And she said that they did remain friends, but it became sporadic. Like, rather than them hanging out all the time, it was kind of sporadic. She says, but now we're cool. So she told Cassie they asked her if she had told Cassie any of the facts of her lawsuit. She said she told Cassie some of the facts in the lawsuit weren't right. Okay, so remember when Cassie filed her lawsuit in November of 2023? Now, she supposedly says that she told Cassie some of the facts weren't correct. Okay, she says that she told her that she got the dates wrong. And the fact that she said Tiffany Red was there. Okay, she said Tiff wasn't there and the dates were wrong. And so they said, well, she didn't remember. And she says, due to her rug use. Okay, now then they asked her about when she met with the government. When you met with the government, okay? They wanted to know if she had talked to Cassie about the balcony incident. She says her and Cassie did talk, but they didn't discuss their testimonies. They didn't discuss anything about, what she was going to say or what Cassie had said. She said that she talked to Cassie. I think she talked to Cassie like maybe a couple of weeks after Cassie's testimony, according to her. She said that she now still has nightmares. And then she says that she hired an attorney. Now get this. She says she hired an attorney January of 2024. In the first meeting with the government, now she had multiple meetings with the government, as most of them did. But she says when she had the meetings with the government and she discussed certain topics about the meeting, she didn't really say anything about Diddy threatening to kill her. But then that was in her lawsuit when there was a demand letter sent by her attorney. Now she said that she initially hired Tyrone Blackburn. She said she hired Tyrone Blackburn, right? Lil Rod's attorney. She says that she fired him though. Now, mind you, in the demand letter, it basically said that Diddy threatened to kill her while she was on the balcony. But she said, but that supposedly was not even true. And then when they asked her, basically why she got rid of her lawyer, she said because he put that stuff in the letter that wasn't true. So then Nicole Westmoreland asked her, but did you change what was in the letter? I mean, after you had the demand letter, you basically went and spoke to the government later after that, and then you told them that Diddy threatened to kill you. But she just said that that wasn't true. And that's why she got rid of her lawyer. So if you got rid of your lawyer for putting something that wasn't true in the demand letter, why would you go and tell the feds that that actually happened? Are y'all hearing this? I want y'all to pay attention because this sounds real sketchy. Okay, thank you, The Lounge. Beloved, I appreciate you. Thank you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so now here's the thing. So she hires another attorney. She says that she heard from Tiffany Red and Cassie and Rob Holiday, right? She said that, she said she hired this new lawyer, and then that's when she heard from Tiffany Red, Cassie, and Rob Holiday. They used to all hang out together. They were friends, and Rob had FaceTimed her. Now get this, Rob Holiday is a producer. He was supposedly her best friend. Now all of a sudden, when she's falling out with, she's not hanging around Diddy because of this so-called incident, she says that Rob FaceTimed her. And it looked like he was in Diddy's backyard when he FaceTimed her. So Who did Mr. Holiday say he was authorized to, who did he say he was authorized to speak for and speak about? This is what they asked her. And she said it was about an offer. What did he say he could talk about pertaining to an offer? Then that's when they objected, okay? And the victim declined. She said she declined an offer. She basically says that her so-called friend Rob Holiday called her on FaceTime while he looked like he was in Diddy's backyard, telling her that they wanted to offer her, some money for her injuries or whatever. She declined the offer. And then she said that she wanted justice. So after the call, she said she never talked to Rob Holiday again. She didn't speak with him. Mind you, this was her best friend. So she was so upset, I guess, that she didn't want to talk to him anymore. So anyway, after talking to Rob, did the attorney you had get you to file a lawsuit? Thank you, Sheila, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. So she gets this new attorney. And then they asked her, when you filed this lawsuit, why did you file the lawsuit? She said she was trying to seek justice. And then she said to her, they asked her, was her testimony truthful? She said it's truthful to the best of her ability. Okay, and now she was suing Diddy for $10 million. Now here's where it gets good, because that was all direct. That was all the direct exam. This is where it gets good when we get into the cross-examination that Nicole Westmoreland conducted. So Nicole asked her, who gets to decide if you're lying? And she said, the prosecutors? That's interesting, because I'm sorry, I thought the jurors get to decide if you're lying. Okay, please pay attention. So she said the prosecutors. Then they were talking about when she worked at the Diamond Supply Company, okay, where she worked at as the head designer, and then Cassie was working there as a co-designer. They were both, she was being paid $75,000, but Cassie made a little bit more money than her. Now, I don't know what they were getting at when they said that. Maybe they were trying to imply that maybe she was jealous because Cassie was making more money. I don't know. So she says her and Cassie got together. Thank you, Terry, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. So they said that her and Cassie were trying to open this clothing line. Now, the employer put them in charge, put her in charge, Brianna. She was in charge of getting ideas out of Cassie's head. Okay, so she asked Cassie to do a photo shoot. But here's the thing. She says she supposedly asked Cassie to do a photo shoot, right? But then she said she doesn't recall, hey, Armand, she said she doesn't recall telling the government that, which I thought was interesting, because all of this was just like within the last year or so. So anyway, she says that she felt comfortable with Cassie. Her and Cassie were hanging out all the time. Now this right here is a precursor. Now I want you all to pay attention, because remember, they're asking her all of these questions, not necessarily in any particular order, okay? So this is the part leading up to Diddy coming to the house. So Nicole Westmoreland asked her, you started feeling comfortable with Cassie, like you and Cassie were hanging out all the time? You were spending the night at Cassie's house a lot, right? So she said yes. And you started spending the night there on a regular basis, right? And she says yes. Nicole Westmoreland says, didn't you all party a lot? Didn't you all go out partying a lot? You went to a lot of parties? And she says, no, we didn't go out to different parties. I said that we partied a lot, not that we went to a lot of parties. Okay. She says, when was the first time you and Cassie did rugs together? They did rugs together the first night they ever hung out. This is what she said. The first time they ever hung out. Now I want you to pay attention, because this young lady was friends with Cassie. She was friends with Cassie, and apparently Cassie was doing rugs before Cassie ever met Diddy. That's what they were saying. Okay, so she says they did the rugs the first night. And guess whose idea was to do the rugs? It was Cassie's. Cassie asked her, do you get high? And she says, yeah. So they spent most of their time, Nicole Westmoreland said, to be honest, you and Cassie spent most of your time getting high, didn't you? She said yes. Okay. She says, you and Cassie did Mary Jane? She says, yes. How did it make you feel? So she describes how it made her feel. Then she said, you did edibles? She says, yes. How did that make you feel? You did ketamine and ecstasy. How did those make you feel? So all of these different rugs they were doing, Westmoreland is constantly asking her, how did it make you feel? Now I'm like, at first I'm thinking, why does she keep asking her, how is this making her feel, these different substances? But I'm gonna tell you like this. When she's doing this line of questioning, it's starting to look like her and Cassie has some type of intimate relationship going on. Let's not forget that this young lady already has admitted that she had a girlfriend, okay? And now she's all of a sudden spending the night with Cassie on a regular basis, and they're doing rugs all the time. So anyway, she says they did Molly together. How did that make you feel? She says, now she said that it made her feel horny. She said it made her feel horny. I want you to think about this. She said it made her feel something else, but I remember specifically that she said it made her feel horny. So you're sitting here with this girl. You already like girls. Y'all are hanging out all the time. Let's not forget that Cassie testified that she wanted to see Diddy doing things with girls. Remember, she said, I've been fantasizing about girls lately. Remember that? So now she's sitting here talking about she felt horny when you're doing rugs with your friend. This is all so juicy, honey. Please pay attention. So then she says, you and Cassie, this is what Westmoreland asked her on the stand. She said, you and Cassie had a serious rug problem. Yes? Would you agree? And she says, yes. She said, before you met Diddy, right? She says, yes. Because she was trying to frame it initially as if Diddy may have gotten her on rugs too. She says, you recall getting, she says, do you recall getting hundreds of pills for Cassie? This is what she asked her. Do you recall getting hundreds of pills for Cassie? So much that you were scared? Early on in the friendship, you sold Cassie rugs, and sometimes you did rugs with her for free. Or sometimes you did rugs with her for free. She said, now here's what she was basically saying, that this girl was so hooked on rugs herself, and so was Cassie. So she says that her and Cassie became rug partners. This is what she asked her. So didn't you and Cassie become rug partners? And she's like, what do you mean? Basically, you would get the rugs and Cassie would buy the rugs because you told the government that you had a rug problem and that it was expensive and you sometimes couldn't afford it. Cassie having a rug problem was a big chunk of your income. And isn't it true that in fact, Mr. Combs told you that you were giving Cassie too many rugs? Now then she would say, I can't recall. I don't remember saying that. Could you repeat the question? This is where that comes in again. See, I told you when people start doing stuff like that, you know they're trying to lie or they don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to lie because they know they might get in trouble. And specifically in her case, she's already been given immunity, but if she lies on the stand, her immunity is gone. So she's sitting there saying, I don't remember and all of this, so she doesn't get caught up in her lies. But she's still getting caught up in her lies. Please pay attention. Okay? So then she says, do you remember a rug dealer? This is when everybody in the court just cracked up. She says, do you remember? How you doing?
Yes.
Do not, why are you bothering him? He's nice. He's a TikToker.
That's a TikToker that lied and said that I got knocked out by Gene Deal and it went viral. And then he turned around. He turned around and told everybody and tagged Bud Light and all of them trying to get a brand deal. So from my perspective, he pushed a false narrative against me
I didn't know that,
in order
honey.
to master the stats and the statistics so that he can use that as leverage to get a brand deal. That's what white TikTokers do to all the black people, don't it? So he's racist. That was an act of racism. Because now he feels like he's a star by creating a false narrative, not about Diddy, but about real people. You're here to cover the Diddy trial. Why are you lying?
Everybody want to go viral, honey.
Everybody want to go viral. And then he's trying to get a brand deal. Ain't nobody black out here getting no brand deal. He wants to get one by saying, look at all these people and look at the demographics, all the black women that subscribe to him and that watched it, that engaged, to go to Budweiser and say, give me a deal.
Wow.
That's what he did.
I see where you was going off then.
Yes, he's racist. It's the psychological aspect. You know, I watch it. Yesterday I was like, you know, I love you. I do. I love your channel. Go ahead and shout your channel.
Oh, I'm the original QueenAShakur.
Absolutely.
Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you.
And follow her, subscribe to her. See, I show love.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so now listen. So she asked her, she says, do you remember a rug dealer named Ray J? Now, when she said that, everybody just bust out laughing. Like, what? Ray J? Don't tell me Ray J's out here selling rugs, okay? Because we already had questions. But so anyway, she's sitting there looking confused. So Westmoreland asked her again, do you know a rug dealer named Ray J? And she's like, I mean, it sounds like the singer, but I don't think that's him. That's when everybody's like, oh, okay. So anyway, she says, let me refresh in your memory. She says, do you recall saying you and Cassie did rugs every day? I don't remember, she says. Did you tell the government that? Because I can refresh in your memory. She keeps telling her this. So she says, you and Cassie wanted a clothing line, right? She says, yes. Okay. The clothing line didn't work out. Thank you, Laverne, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings to all of you. I'm giving super chats and cash apps. She says, but the clothing line didn't work out. There was issues with the diamond and supply company. They didn't see their vision. Okay, so now Westmoreland says, you and Cassie were getting high every day. The first time she met Diddy was at a dinner at his house. When she asked her, when's the first time you saw Diddy? She said it was at a dinner at his house or something like that. And then she says, this is when she starts asking her about the testimony. She brings up Deontay Nash. Remember the stylist? Remember the stylist from last week? Okay, she says she wants to know if you discussed the testimony with him. And she claimed that they didn't discuss it. She says they avoided the subject. Okay, they avoided the topic. And I'm like, yeah, right. I don't believe it. So she says that's when you decided to hire Tyrone Blackburn. Now, she says on November the 23rd, in November of 2023 and December 2023, she said you and Cassie were working together. You were both discussing lawsuits. Cassie called her in November right before she filed her lawsuit and then called her again right after. She said you were both speaking about what you could sue. What you could sue Mr. Combs for. I find this all so interesting. Like y'all trying to get y'all suing claims together. Okay, please pay attention. Like they were just conjuring this up as the way she was presenting it. She's saying that you and Cassie got together. You know, you all might not have been talking all the time. It was sporadic. But now in November, Cassie's calling you, telling you that she's going to sue Diddy. And then now you and her are saying, well, what can we sue for? What can we say? So then Brianna says, I didn't tell my friend. She asked her, she says, did you tell Cassie about your lawsuit? And she says, no, I didn't tell my friends. She said Cassie called her and asked her permission to use her name in her lawsuit, in Cassie's lawsuit. So then she says, you two spoke at the end of the year and talked about this balcony story. Cassie said, oh, let's say it happened at a hotel. You said, no, what about your apartment? Now, do y'all hear this? It sounds like they were making this up all together, like getting together, just painting this narrative. She's like, yeah, Cassie's like, let's say it happened at a hotel. You're like, no, we'll say it was at your apartment because your apartment has a balcony. Oh, y'all heard this? This is real bullish. Who was that sent the super chat? Thank you, Roberta, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so then she says, you said no. What about your apartment? And you and Cassie discussed locations of where this happened. I'm telling y'all, honey, this is not a good look. Cassie said the hotel, you said the apartment balcony. You suggested one date and she suggested another. You and Cassie discussed who you would say was all there. Cassie said Tiffany Red. You said no, let's say my ex-girlfriend. Sure, this is all juicy, huh? Cassie says you were hung over a balcony. She's asking. Cassie said, no, she says, Cassie saw you hung over the balcony? This is what Westmoreland asked her. She says, she saw me. Westmoreland says, did you and Cassie have a discussion? And she says she didn't see you get hung over the balcony. She says, you told Cassie she was there because she said she didn't recall. You all had all those conversations in November of 2023, right before Cassie filed that lawsuit. She says, what convos? I don't know if it was all the convos you're talking about. This is what Brianna's saying, trying to play dumb. Now then the judge, and then when Westmoreland asked her another question, and she's like, I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. And the judge asked her to rephrase. So she says, okay, you and Cassie had these convos to the questions that I just asked you about. I'll refresh your memory. Then she shows her something, right? We can't see it. Only she can see it. She says, look at that. And when you're finished, look at me. Isn't it true? Now, remember I told you guys that whenever these attorneys say, isn't it true? You know they're about to go in. She said, isn't it true? You spoke to Cassie before she filed her lawsuit. You and Miss Ventura spoke about this alleged balcony incident and discussed dates, who was or wasn't there. And then you hired a lawyer. You saw this case on the news, right? She says, yeah, I saw it. It was everywhere. You said that you were on FaceTime and saw Cassie's black eye. You said this was the first time you saw any violence. You said you were around Cassie for a year before you even met Mr. Combs. When did you see the premiere? Remember that movie that Cassie was in? I forget the name of it. But she was talking about the premiere of the movie, right? When did you say you went to the premiere? She says, I don't know the exact date. But you told the government about the black eye. You said that was in 2016, right? Now, what about Cassie's 29th birthday party? You remember going to the party and what kind of rugs you all were doing and using? She says, I don't remember. I don't remember. She says, you saw them arguing, not physically fighting, right? Would you agree with me? You said you were in the hallway and Cassie was in the hallway. But what about Mr. Combs? You said he walked in and threw a knife. Where did he come from? I don't know. You spoke with the government about the knife throwing incident. Didn't you tell the government Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura would get in knife fights, plural, like more than one, like on regular occasions, basically? She says, I don't remember that. You testified today that you saw it. Isn't that true? You said you saw it once. But before, she said they would get into knife fights, as in many. So then she says, well, yes. She says, you said the knife came from the kitchen. You told the government it came from the kitchen. Because that made sense. Because here's the thing. If Diddy walked in the house, she was in the hallway, Cassie's in Cassie's bedroom, Diddy walks in and throws a knife, and you don't know where he came from, how he got in the apartment. And the government had asked her, where did the knife come from? So what's she gonna say? She said the kitchen, because that's what makes sense. But if he just came in the house, you know, you gotta walk through the house, the apartment to get to the kitchen. So she didn't say he had the knife when he walked in. They asked her where it come from. She says the kitchen. So if he walks in the house, you don't know where he came from, he goes and gets the knife from the kitchen, you didn't see him, or Cassie didn't hear him walk in and go get the knife, because you also said that he grabbed you. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention and put you over the balcony. Now, she goes on to say, oh, no, I'm sorry, scratch that. That was the other incident. But in this incident, she says that he had the knife and threw it. Cassie threw it back and he left. Okay, so then she says, did you leave? After Diddy threw the knife and then Cassie threw it back, Westmoreland says, did you leave? And she says, no. She says, why? She said, because he left. Westmoreland said, you weren't scared he might come back? Like, just because he left, that's the end of it. He's the boogeyman, apparently, because you said he just popped up in the apartment. You don't even know how he got in there. But now, because he's gone, you're not worried? He could just come right back. So she says, you said Diddy said I would kill you at a photo shoot. Now, you told the government it happened at a party. She says, I don't remember. Oh, okay. Let me show you. Let me refresh in your memory. Mr. Combs said I could kill you. That would be something very important, right? Now, can you ask me? She says, now can you ask? This is the victim, the Bryana. She's saying, Westmoreland, can you ask me that again, please? She says, you had a lawyer who sent out a demand letter. You knew it was a lie. You knew it was a lie about him saying, I'm going to kill you. Isn't it true? And of course, during all of this, mind you, the prosecution is constantly objecting. The judge is overruling. Sometimes he's sustaining, or he may have her to rephrase, but for the most part, he's allowing her to answer these questions. So she says, isn't it true that would you agree with me that you met with the government January the 18th in 2024? The first time you mentioned Diddy saying that he would kill you was in the demand letter. Now, mind you, she met with the government January the 18th. Pay attention to the dates. January the 18th of 2024. She didn't say anything about Diddy said he was going to kill her. The demand letter came out January the 31st. That's when her lawyer put in the demand letter, Diddy said he would kill her. She didn't tell the government that, but the lawyer put it in the letter. But she's already admitted that it was not true when the lawyer put it in the letter. She said that's why she got rid of the lawyer. So then why would you go and tell the government after this? Because she went back and spoke with the government again. And then she says he said he would kill her. Now Westmoreland says, okay, I'm going to show you a document. Isn't it true in your lawyer's demand letter, it says Mr. Combs threatened to kill you on the balcony? Now mind you, first you said he was going to kill you at a photo shoot. Then you said he was going to kill you at a party. Now you said he was going to kill you when you were on the balcony. But before that, she didn't say anything about that. Because remember, when I came out here and talked to you all during lunch, I told you that when she was on the balcony, she said Diddy kept saying, you know what the F you did? You know what the F you did? He kept repeating it. And she was like, I don't know what the F I did. So now the story's changing. She said, you didn't correct that after the letter went out? Or did you fix it? She says, I let him go. She's talking about the lawyer. After the demand letter, that's when you told the government Mr. Combs said he would kill you. You would agree with me that Mr. Combs told you you were giving Miss Ventura too many rugs. I don't remember. Rugs are expensive, she says. And y'all know I'm talking about illegal substances, but I can't say it on here. Rugs are expensive, right? The witness says they're very expensive. She says currently. Now she's trying to trip her up when she says currently, like, are you still back on them because you said you got off of them? And she's like, I don't know. So she says, you would run out of money for your rugs, wouldn't you? She says, I never looked at it like that. Isn't it true that you told the government you couldn't afford your rugs? She says, yes. You and Cassie had a rug partnership. Part of your income was from Cassie using rugs. Woo, honey, when I tell you this is all so nefarious, at the end of the day, honey, sitting up there, it's a whole lot to unpack. I just want y'all to pay attention. It's a whole lot to unpack with this story. Something in the milk ain't clean, and somebody is not telling the whole entire truth, okay? That's all I'm saying. But what do y'all think about it? What do y'all think about it, honey? They wasn't messed up. They are lying facts, okay? I mean, this is so juicy. I'm telling you, I think her and Cassie were sleeping together. I think her and Cassie were sleeping together. You sitting up there talking about you spend a night at her house all the time. Y'all sit up there doing rugs, all these different rugs and that, and then Diddy's getting mad because y'all doing all these rugs, and then you talking about some of the rugs make you horny. Now that's what she told the government when she went to interview with them. This is why, let me tell y'all something. When I tell you Brian Steele and Nicole Westmoreland are the bomb. They from Atlanta, honey, like the queen. Pay attention. I just want y'all to pay attention. At the end of the day, honey, they are doing the damn thing. They are making it hard for the prosecution, honey. They're making them have to work for their money because they tear these people apart on cross-exam. And the thing is that's so interesting is when she kept asking her, after she was telling her, asking her different rugs that she's taking, like the ketamine, the Coca-Cola, the Mary Jane and all that stuff, the Molly, she's asking her, how does this make you feel? And how did that one make you feel? And I'm like, why is she asking this lady how all of these different substances make her feel? Because she knew that you already told the government that some of those make you horny. And you already said you got an ex-girlfriend, so we know you like girls. We know Cassie like them, because Cassie said she been fantasizing about them. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to paint a narrative. Maybe they wasn't doing anything, but I think they was doing things. Second of all, I definitely think that they made up that story about the balcony incident. You lied about who was there, allegedly. I mean, you're telling us, you're trying to get together and come up with scenarios. Okay, we're going to say Tiffany was there. No, let's not say Tiffany. We'll say it was my ex-girlfriend. Okay, so where did it happen? Let's say at a hotel. No, let's say your apartment, because your apartment had a balcony. Woo, honey, this is a lot to unpack. Okay? This is Laverne said, damn it, I knew it. Okay? This is all crazy. Anyway, you guys, listen. I might have to go down to the Apollo tonight and get on the darn internet, honey. Okay? Because I got a weak connection where I'm staying. I told y'all, right? And my Ethernet thing is not going to be here till tomorrow. Damn it, I need to get online tonight so we can talk about this because it's all so juicy. Oh, my goodness, I love y'all. They don't remember enough to tell the truth. I know, right? Get your lies straight. But see, that's the thing. When you tell multiple lies, honey, you just can't remember them sometimes, okay? That's how that goes. Look at Skeletor fan. Yes, Skeletor. Okay? Thank you, Be the Difference Clothing. Said, glad you made it. Thank you. Well, listen, that's all I have for y'all right now. I'm about to call my Uber so I can get back to the house. And I love y'all, honey. I hope y'all are enjoying it because I sure am. I'll be back tomorrow, okay? And if I don't get to go live tonight, definitely I'll be going live tomorrow. Okay? Ladybug said, excellent reporting. Thank you. Elizabeth said, we love you, Queen. I love y'all, too. Okay, I'm having the time of my life out here, just so y'all know. I mean, all these different YouTubers, everybody is cool and chill and everything. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, listen, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.